Hello dear friends, Fisher here. Today we continue with our beautiful stories, The Power of the Spirit by ALFRED HOSP, also known as Freddie in the book. Today Bruno came to a Vienna community and gave a speech, and then he saw there was a people like ladies arguing among each other, among themselves, and then he gave an example. He put his favorite Camel cigarette from his pocket and then show to the people around, what do you see on this packet? And some people saw, oh, there's the pyramid, and the other people saw, oh, there's a camel. And then Bruno asked everybody until they give answer, and Bruno said, yes, friends, who is right in this case? But you will concede that you all saw the right thing, at least from your point of view. So the question is not the pyramid or camel, but the truth is the pyramid and the camel. From this example, you should recognize that there can be quite different truths. How an individual judges a matter always depends on their personal situation. In no way need a malicious intent lie, concealed behind a failure, but often only another piece of information in which one blindly trusts. Before anyone gets upset because of this, it is necessary that they exchange their own point of view with that of the other person, in order to recognize the real connections. One must therefore abandon one's own limited understanding in order to understand the problem from the point of view of one's fellow human beings. You have only worked up this road because you were immediately insulted and assumed the worst right away. Not once did one of you pick up the phone to get the matter out of the way with a few clarifying words. So finally, separate from your false view of things and give each other your hands in reconciliation. It's a small story, and that point there is very often what's happened in our life, dear friends. So it's very simple. When you get into the arguments with people, and then especially that often happens you get into argument with your partner, and then you both believe you are right, and then you get into the argument because each of you was just only expressing their point of view in their own position, because you are thinking with your left brain and then your spouse thinking in her right brain, or just simply you see on one side of the story and then your partner see the other side. That's why you get into the argument, and then from your point of view, and then you both have a truth, so you both saying the right thing, isn't it? You happen like there's you and your spouse, and then you have children. The children made mistake, and then your spouse say, oh, okay, we need to look after the children's emotion, get him recovered first. And then you say, no, he need a discipline, he need to learn his mistake, And I think both of you are right. Yes, you need to support your children emotionally. And then the same thing, you need to provide some discipline and make sure your children's knowing what is right or wrong, what is the boundary. And you both are right. And then it just often is the timing. You want to do your things first, and then he or she wants to do their things first. So, and then you express your own opinions, and then you fail to listen. That's a very important. Often, it's not only listen to the words, but listen to your partner's emotion. And I learned that from my marriage, because it's not only the information. My wife repeat herself saying the same thing many times, and then as me, I don't like repetitive information. Because I said, you told me once, max twice. And I remember why you keep saying that. And then only later I realized, okay, she keeps saying the same thing, it's just to release her emotion. She's not happy or she's stressed about something, work, whatever. Release the emotion. You have to listen to the emotion. That is the most difficult part, because information you can absorb fairly quickly, but to deal with the emotion depends how deep the emotion she or he has, and it can be very, very difficult to listen to the emotion, dear friends. But of course you do your best, and then you put yourself in their shoes, and then you try to understand them. So even though things sound like senseless or illogical to you, but you still listen, and then don't be in a hurry to give your solutions, because often they don't need a solution. Simply let them talk, release the emotion is the solution. And then, but of course, I always like to give solution. I say you can release your emotion, you can talk whatever, you can talk for hours. By the end of the day, if problem is not solved, it will happen tomorrow again. But don't worry, tomorrow they will repeat their complaint again. And tomorrow they're talking about the same thing, release the same emotion again. And this cycle goes on. Anyway, so that's only from my point of view. The most important thing, as what Bruno pointed out here, dear friend, is to recognize we have our own limited understanding. So we do not have all the puzzles. So there are always missing puzzles. So you add one more puzzle, and then your whole point of view might change. So don't be so pridefully believe you have 100% truth. There's always some degree of falsehood, or maybe 1% to 99%, or maybe 100%. So you might have. So you always give a room for yourself to make little mistakes, because you do not know the whole truth. And then hardly any human being know the whole truth on this earth. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. It's very simple. So it's always listen. Of course, you need patience to listen to others say, especially when they express their emotions. And you got to recognize their behaviors. They're not looking for solutions. They just need a listener. They just need to tip their emotion on somebody. Of course, later on you probably will give that negative emotion to God, or in the emotional imaginary rubbish bin. Don't keep it for yourself. So that's how human being will have a better communication, is to not to in a hurry to express their own opinion, but rather listen what others will say and clarify things. And do not assume, dear friends, we have make all mistake on assumptions. So if something happened to your car, you might assume, okay, somebody else trying to damage it. It might be just from your own mistake. Okay, so always start examining yourself. That's always I often say to myself. Start examining yourself, not just start blaming on others. Always start examining yourself. Okay, dear friends, wish you have a good day, and God bless.